The Valari Dominion prided itself on absolute dominance. Its fleet spanned 100 worlds. Its soldiers were bred for war. No species had ever survived an open conflict with them. Then they invaded Arivos 9, a barren frontier world with a small Terran research base. The Dominion expected a one-day victory. It took them 6 months. And when they finally captured the survivors, they learned the truth that shook the galaxy. They hadn't fought the Terran army. They'd fought a Recon team. The invasion begins. Valari Commander Terran led the initial assault with overwhelming firepower, orbital bombardment, mechanized infantry, and air support. The humans, barely a few hundred colonists with a handful of soldiers, refused to surrender. Instead, they vanished into the wastelands. At first, Terran laughed. Primitive tactics, he said. They flee like animals. But the next morning, his forward outpost was gone. Nothing left but melted armor and boot prints that disappeared into the dust. The ghosts of Arivos. Every night, something hit the Valari lines. Ammo depots exploded. Patrols vanished. Supply drops never arrived. Drones caught glimpses, shadows moving faster than sensors could track. The Dominion called them shades. One captured soldier, trembling and blooded, told Terran, "They hit us before we even heard them." Then they laughed. The commander dismissed it as fear-induced hysteria, until it happened to him. First contact. On the third week, Terran's command convoy was ambushed. Human explosives tore through armor carriers with impossible precision. When he stumbled out of the wreckage, dazed, a human voice spoke through his comms. That was just a warning shot. "Commander, pull your troops back." He demanded to know who was speaking. "Recon Team 6, the voice said. "We're just scouting the area." Then the line went dead. The laws of war don't apply here. The Valari army was used to formal warfare, ranks, formations, predictable tactics. Humans fought like they were born for chaos. They turned dust storms into cover. They turned wreckage into traps. They jammed sensors with microwave bursts made from salvaged parts. Valari analysts calculated that such tactics were unsustainable. And yet, every week, more Dominion troops went missing. The capture. Months later, the Dominion finally cornered a human, Sergeant Mason Hale, injured but still defiant. Terran interrogated him personally. "You fought well," the commander said, "but it's over. Where's your main army?" Hale grinned through blooded lips. "Army? You think weird." Terran frowned. "You mean there are more of you?" "We're just Recon, sir," Hale whispered. "We're supposed to map terrain. The main force isn't even in orbit yet." The commander froze. "You're lying." Hale chuckled weakly. "You'll know when they arrive. The ground will shake before you hear them." Moments later, the soldier bit down on something. His vitals flatlined. Self-termination implant. Standard issue for deep field Terran units. Panic in the Dominion. When the report reached the Dominion High Council, chaos erupted. A Recon team had held off 6 divisions of elite troops for months. Military analysts replayed the battle logs in disbelief. "They are not soldiers," one officer said. "They are predators." Rumors spread across fleets. If that was Recon, what happens when the main force arrives? The Dominion doubled border patrols, reinforced colonies, and recalled outlying fleets. But it was too late. The sky burns. 3 weeks later, Dominion long-range sensors detected multiple warp signatures entering Arivos 9's orbit. Not a fleet. An armada. Hundreds of Terran ships, heavily armed, coordinated, and silent. No demands, no warnings. They simply descended. From orbit, precision strikes vaporized Dominion positions. The kinetic rounds moved too fast to track, railgun slugs the size of tanks. By the time Terran re-established contact with his forces, half his army was gone. A calm human voice echoed over the open channel. This is the main force. Recon complete. The fall of Arrivos 9. For every Valari soldier that stood and fought, 5 fell before ever seeing a human face. Orbital cannons tore apart fortresses that had stood for centuries. The Terran infantry landed only when the planet was already lost. Toivan's last transmission to the Dominion Council read, "They fight without hesitation, without pity, but not without purpose. We underestimated them. There is no defense." Hours later, his flagship detonated in orbit, scuttled before it could be captured. Aftermath. The Dominion surrendered Arrivos 9 within a solar day. The human flag was raised over the ruins of the Capitol complex. No public execution. No retaliation. No humiliation. Humans didn't conquer. They stabilized. They rebuilt supply routes for civilians, provided medical aid, even for captured enemy soldiers. When asked why, the Terran commander simply said, "We weren't sent to destroy you, just to remind you what you started." The galaxy reacts. News of the Arrivos 9 campaign spread faster than light. Alien councils panicked. Empires rearmed. Trade routes froze. One phrase echoed through military academies: "Never provoke a Deathworlder." And among those who had fought them, another truth took root. Humans didn't just survive war. They redefined it. The lesson. Years later, captured Dominion veterans described the campaign in interviews. They didn't talk about human weapons. They talked about their silence. One said, "They never shouted, never boasted, even when they won. That's how we knew they weren't done." Another whispered, "I still hear their laughter in the sandstorms." Maybe the Recon team never left. Humanity's creed. When a Terran officer was later asked about the campaign, he answered, "We don't send soldiers to die. We send them to finish." The interviewer asked if humanity planned to keep expanding. "No," the officer replied. "We expand only when someone threatens home." And in every corner of the galaxy, that word, home, took on a new, terrifying meaning. Because everyone knew now, if a Recon team could hold a planet, what could an army do